What's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about F.A. Ajagba versus Martin Bakole when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and I want to talk about this heavyweight clash because people that know me and Cam J is a witness because he mentioned this. He knows I like heavyweights. And just to take you back and give you a backstory, I think where my love for heavyweight division came from, it must spawn from me being a Mike Tyson fan. Mike Tyson was the first boxer I saw at a young age. And of course, he's a heavyweight. So I think that's what made me kind of gravitate towards the heavyweight boxers. But I learned to appreciate all boxers. I like welterweights, lightweights, middleweights and stuff like that. As I've got older, I've learned to appreciate all boxing divisions and all different styles of boxing, etc. But tonight we're going to talk about the heavyweight clash that's coming on this weekend, on this Saturday, which will actually be on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull. So who we have first is F.A. Ajagba, Nigerian boxer, record 20 wins, 14 wins by knockout, 1 loss, and 1 draw. He stands 6'6" with 85-inch reach, orthodox stance, age 31. His opponent, Martin Bakole, is a Congo boxer, 21 wins, 16 of which by knockout, 2 losses, no draws. Martin Bakole stands 6'6", orthodox stance, age 33. So, if you look at those, what I just read off, both of these guys are 6'6", so they're pretty much even height. Age difference, 2 years. Martin Bakole is 2 years older than F.A. Ajagba. So close in age, same height, both right-hand orthodox fighters. Both from Africa. One from Nigeria, one from Congo. All right, so in 2023, F.A. Ajagba beats Stephen Shaw by unanimous decision. In 2021, F.A. Ajagba lost to slick Cuban fighter Frank Sanchez. That was a good fight I was able to witness. Frank Sanchez looked his best, and that was the best version of Frank Sanchez that I've probably ever saw. He was at the perfect fight weight. He was very mobile. His mobility was second to none. He was moving all around the ring, being very evasive, very smart, great counter punches, combination punches, using his speed, his footwork, and all the intangibles that were in his arsenal he used in order to negate a lot of the pressure and a lot of what F.A. Ajagba was trying to implement towards him. Also, in the year of 2020, F.A. Ajagba beat Jonathan Rice. Jonathan Rice has a lot of size on him. He's a big guy. And F.A. Ajagba beat him by unanimous decision. Now, his opponent, Martin Bakole. Martin Bakole in 2024, Bakole knocked out Big Baby Anderson of Toledo, Ohio. It really didn't come as of a shock that he would beat Big Baby Anderson, because truthfully, in my opinion, Big Baby Anderson was still being somewhat groomed as far as learning, uh, taking like his steps, going up and up that ladder or whatnot. And I felt like he was still somewhat unexperienced. He didn't have that level of experience that Martin Bakole had. Martin Bakole fighting Carlos Takam. Martin Bakole um, fighting Michael Hunter. You know what I'm saying? So he had some good opponents to give him um, a better resume and a better sense of different style of fighters and fighters that had a decent name. Whereas other than Martin Bakole and Charles Martin, um, Jared Anderson didn't fight many notable names on his record. So it didn't come as a surprise that Martin Bakole won by knockout. Um, so in 2023, Bakole beat Carlos Takam by technical knockout. Um, Bakole had two losses, like I said before, and they were by Joseph Parker, in which he took that fight on a 2-day notice. So, in all fairness to Martin Bakole, I won't hold that against him. That's something me and Cam talked about when I was a guest on his podcast. So shout out to Cam J. Basically, taking a fight with somebody on a world level like Joseph Parker on a 2-day notice, that's kind of crazy. That's not something that you should do. But I understand it was for the money. The type of money Martin Bakole couldn't pass up. So he took the fight on a short notice and ended up getting dropped and couldn't get back up to recover. His other loss was a decision loss to Michael Hunter. So we see that both guys have losses. But when I went back and watched the highlights of each fighter, I see more power and that 1-2 and those 3-punch combinations he has a better jab. I would say that the better jab comes from F.A. Ajagba with a lot of power. His jabs are very powerful. Martin Bakole throws more volume. He throws punches and bunches, and he keeps coming forward. So I've never really seen F.A. Ajagba have to resort to fighting on his back foot. When he did resort to fighting on his back foot, he didn't look so good. Sort of like when Deontay Wilder is on his back foot against Tyson Fury, it gave him problems. So it's going to be very interesting to see if there's any adaptability on the end of F.A. Ajagba pertaining to Martin Bakole. Will he be able to sidestep? Will he be able to do certain angles and certain things to negate the pressure of Martin Bakole, who's going to be coming in, trying to plow. He comes in as his opponent's trying to plow, throwing mass punches and, just smothering his opponent. So it's going to be an interesting contrast of styles. Two different style fighters, two big guys, like I said, both standing 6'6" or whatnot. Also with Bakole, other than the 2-day notice loss with Parker in the Michael Hunter fight, although he lost, it was said during the fight he suffered an injury, maybe like a shoulder tear or some type of injury. So in both fights, it seemed like there was something going on with Martin Bakole to where he wasn't all the way healthy or all the way in shape. I think for this fight with F.A. Ajagba, he realizes the severity of this win. He also understands the severity of fighting somebody who can really punch, like F.A. Jagba. Although I saw on my guy's page, on his YouTube, um, Counterpunch Boxing. Shout out to Kurt DeVille. Um, he had a portion of the interview where Martin Bakole is kind of laughing and saying F.A. Ajagba don't have power, blah blah blah. I think that's just him being somewhat sarcastic or whatnot, or what they would say tongue in cheek. I don't think he actually believes that. I think he knows how dangerous F.A. Ajagba really is, and he just talking smack or whatever. But he knows in his mind, and vice versa. Just like F.A. Ajagba, he knows what he's dealing with Martin Bakole. They have to respect each other's power. Both guys have power. Both guys have a nice amount of knockouts. And when you're dealing with heavyweight boxers, all it takes is that one punch. So I think both guys would be pretty respect res, respectful of the other guy's power and the other guy what they bring to the table. So I would like to know in the comments below, y'all. I want to know your predictions with F.A. Ajagba this Saturday versus Martin Bakole. I want to know your prediction of these two heavy hitters of the heavyweight division. If I have to give my prediction, I've been going back and forth. Sometimes I feel like F.A. Ajagba is going to win. Sometimes I say Martin Bakole is going to win. So I'm kind of down the line with this one. 50-50. It's one of them fights to where whoever lands flush first, enough, they'll probably win the fight. Kind of like AJ versus Dubois. When Dubois was able to land that overhand right, it pretty much set the whole tone for the rest of the fight. So pretty much we know beginning bell, the way I see it going. Not F.A. Ajagba, but Martin Bakole is going to try to put pressure on F.A. Ajagba. Not necessarily calculated pressure, but he's going to put pressure on him. So hopefully in the game plan of F.A. Ajagba, through film study, through his trainers and stuff like that, they will understand somewhat the mindset of Bakole and what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to come in and set the pace and set the rhythm. Somehow, F.A. Ajagba must negate his rhythm, and whatever his most dangerous punch is, he must do his best to negate. If it's his right hand, that's his most powerful punch. He's going to have to negate it. He's going to have to counterpunch if need be. He's going to have to beat him to the punch. Things like that. A lot of little small things F.A. Ajagba is going to have to do in order to be victorious against Martin Bakole. I hope you enjoyed this video tonight, y'all. And make sure in the description area, there's that link down there. So if you're interested and you want to support the channel, check out the online store. Like I said, the link is in the description area. Also, I will be going live this Sunday to recap this weekend. That's going to be full of fights. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to have fights. Headliners and stuff like that. Friday is going to be like the triple header with your big names like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tio Lopez. And then on Saturday, you're going to have your headliner, Canelo versus Skull, with F.A. Ajagba and Martin Bakole on the undercard, amongst a few other fighters on that undercard as well. And then Sunday, the main banger with Inoue, the Asian fighter, that's going to be trying to put it down and establish his name. So it's going down this weekend, y'all. And we're going to be breaking this all down on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA. So make sure you tune in Sunday, every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA, when we go live.